Wrong slide. Hey, everybody. That's for later. Hello. Somebody else with a big circular head instead of that drawing. It's me. How are you? We're going to do Alakazam, Alakazoo, and 4 more people, and we'll be over the 100 mark. Come on, let's hear it. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Well, did you ever know that the word abracadabra means out of nothing I will make something? And that's quite interesting, because today we're going to talk about something beautiful and magic, and we're going to talk about the genie in the lamp. But there we are, 102. We have it. Congratulations, and thank you for coming along. How's the dinner going? Are you scoffing it down to get? Are you saying, right, don't disturb me, I'm going on this masterclass? And is somebody shouting up like all that woo-woo stuff? What's happening in your house right now? How are you getting on with these evenings? Can you believe it's only day 3? And also in the same way, can you believe it's like gone so fast in another way? It's like, wow, it's Wednesday already, and here we are. Well, now we're going to start really getting into the nuts and bolts of it. You know, you've done your beginner lessons, you've learned how to put on the seatbelt and get your seat adjusted, and you've learned how to use the indicator switches, and now their driving instructor is going to get you out into the main road and learn how to take off and pull over and all that. So we're going to start really getting this thing moving, really helping you to understand, like, I love the movie The Secret, but we're going to not keep too many secrets to ourselves. We're really showing you how it works. I believe the reason it doesn't work for some people is they lack guidance. They're trying to guide themselves. They lack accountability, and they lack a bit of self-discipline as well. When you discipline yourself, do you know that in the seven levels of thinking mastery is the top, animalistic reactionary type thinking is in the bottom, and just 2 steps from the top is discipline. When a person is disciplined, the next step above that is experience. They will give themselves better experiences in life, and those experiences allow them to understand and believe that, hey, hang on a minute, I'm living in mastery right now. And then you get very humble again and realize if you keep thinking you're a master at something, then you're going to start heading back down again. So I like to float between discipline, experience, and mastery. The 4 that's below that is for another lesson, but discipline, accountability, and guidance, these are things that people are missing on their road to, you know, massive transformations, quantum leaps, not necessarily taking years, but just taking a desire and a want and a passion, and away they go. So tonight we're going to really, some of you have been behind the curtain of what we do already. Well, many of you, because you're on this masterclass, but I know there's a really big number of you guys showing up every day for our 6 a.m. club. Now, I want that number to go up to 100 as well. I think we hit 76 the first day and 72 today. So I don't like the paradigm bringing the numbers down. I want us, you see, to make big changes this week. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to affirm and manifest, and we're all going to get in this together. Let's 25 more of you jump on that 6 a.m. club tomorrow morning. What's the big deal? You can go for a nap in the afternoon. Get your butt onto the 6 a.m. club. See, so there's no mystery. You understand one element of what we do in our Academy of Think It Into Results, where we really, you'll see people like studying first thing in the morning. It's a real nice energy. Actually, if you're part of that, why don't you let us know how you've been enjoying that, please. Pop in some comments here. Let us know what's your favorite part of the 6 a.m. club. What's been your favorite part of your own experience of this masterclass so far? We're hearing a lot of, this is great. Thank you so much. I'd like to hear why you say that. What are you feeling? What are you experiencing this week? And we talk about it being a week. We did 1.5 hours on Monday and 1.5 hours on Tuesday. And I know you guys are buzzing. So why is that? Well, we're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about why companies can put motion pictures together with music and imagery and sound, and they can grab your attention for 1.5 to 2.5, 3 hours, and grab your attention and move you, make you cry, make you laugh, make you scared. We're thinking in pictures now, but you guys are starting to really think in pictures of the life that you want to live. We all cheer because the heroes on the screen. I think we're allowing you to understand that you are the hero in your life. You're not the villain and you're not the victim anymore. You really are. Maybe you're at the start of your journey. Maybe you've been through your journey and you've had an amazing life and you never knew how you did it all. Maybe you know that deep down inside there's a wonderful life that keeps getting, it seems like, screwed over all the time. And now you're going to learn why each of these people are getting the same results that they don't want. You know, you're going to understand from listening to what we're going to teach you today. I'm going to have 2 amazing guest speakers on. We're going to have the wonderful Frida, who is watching in the background. Hello, Frida. She's coming on to tell her story about her relationship with this material Frida's a student of the Thinking into Results program by a colleague of mine, and I put all of the hands of the marketing of our wonderful company in her hands over the last 12 months, and we've, our company's grown. I've really enjoyed working alongside Frida, but I love her story as well. And she, she's like me. She was kind of saying, I hope and I wish, and now she's got the tools to make it work. And she's not going backwards. She just keeps getting bigger and bigger and growing and growing. So it's really, really good. She's going to pop in later on to talk to us. But I'm actually going to substitute Bob in as well. I rejigged things a little bit. I did a lot of deep study this morning, went for a good old walk in the afternoon, and I got a kind of a good intuition to share a video with you that's quite powerful. So I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of talking myself tonight. I'm going to take you through a bit of a diagram and show you some stuff. But yeah, I'm going to actually read some comments now as well and see what's going on. I love Maria Morgan was in the masterclass, and the 6 a.m. club. And Maria says, I love the quote that Laura gave us this morning. What's the truest and most beautiful version of the life I can imagine? So what's the truest and most beautiful version of the life that I can imagine? Yeah, you see, Maria and Morgan are just two words that are put together, and you think that's who you are, but that's just your name. That's your name you were given. Declan and O'Donoghue are two names that I was given, but that's not who I am either. There is a truer and a more beautiful version of the life that we live. Even myself or Bob or anybody who's kind of gone through this material, Arash, we all look back Monday to Friday. Dave, I like the way he said that himself and his wife Jacqueline every December look back and apologize for the year they've had, because they know that they didn't perform at a maximum 10 out of 10 all the time. And I think it's nice I think June and I are in month 9 now of the same process, and we could look back and say, yeah, there was times that I wasn't at my best, you weren't at your best, probably took it out on one another a little bit. I think that's a really cool thing to do. It's something that we can do all of the time. We can look at where we are, we can look at what's been going on, not get emotionally involved in failures, and just go, all right, cool. So I can see that my old paradigm is still in control there a little bit. Cool. I can make some adjustments and I can improve that situation. That is a great quote. It's the accountability is why I love the 6 a.m. club. Somebody said, so StreamYard doesn't show me your details. So give me a sec. I must pop in here and read all of these gorgeous comments and see who is. Yep, there we are. Thank you. There's Maria's quote. Cool. It's so good. Like you said, I'm awake before 6 and ready. Wow. So that's Sarah Doyle. I'm reading your cryptic name there, Sarah. So you're getting up and awake even before 6, which is probably something you weren't able to do before. We've got a young man in our company called John. And I remember it was a bit of a reservation of his. He said, I hear you talking about this 6 a.m. Do I have to get up early? And I said, well, you don't, but you probably will. And yeah, he used to be stuck to the bed, and apparently he can't wait to get up now and get studying, and he's a different chap. Kate O'Donovan, how's it going, Kate? I think I saw something on your Facebook. Something cool happened in the last couple of days for you. Isn't it something for the Matter? I've done that as well, running for the Matter Hospital. I did that a couple of years ago. So well done, Kate. Well done to you. If you want to, if you have a link and you'd like a sponsorship, pop it into the masterclass and people might donate. You have my blessing. I loved running for the Matter as well a couple of years ago. I think that's what it was, if I'm right. We got Moredo Suluwan. I love the 6 a.m. club. I'm able to do the work in a quiet, supportive environment. Isn't it so rare? But it's so simple. And that is just more. The reason my team keep winning and succeeding and getting places is because they're using the laws. The more you give, the more you get. They don't do this for themselves. They do it for the clients. And the more they keep doing that, it's not like you're playing a trick on the universe, because you're only ever fooling yourself if you do. If you try and mess around with the law of gravity, you are going to get hurt. And there's a law of cause and effect. And if the causes are saying one thing, but deep down inside vibrating in another way, I really want to help you. And inside it's like, I really want to make a sale. It's never going to work. So they're working with the laws. That's why you feel this from ourselves. You feel it from the 6 a.m. club. They're giving up that hour every day. Do Daniel, and Megan and Laura, they give up that hour in order to help you guys, and to help our clients to have a place to study. It's beautiful. Frida's here, yeah, because she's looking forward to it. Juliet O'Keefe, my favorite part of the morning club is knowing others are working on their work at the same time, so I'm not my own. I really appreciate hearing from people in the academy about their thinking into results learning. That's cool. Mr. Cullinan, the main man, it is the accountability is why I love the 6 a.m. club, the accountability, yeah. Anne is here. Good morning, Anne. It's this morning, 6 a.m. club. I felt that Laura was speaking to my soul. Do you know what? She has a habit of doing that. She's a spiritual being living in a physical body. There's no question about it. And she's great crack as well at the same time. Sinead Pollux, Aura says, I've joined the 6 a.m. Club study group and I've been really enjoying it. For me, it's a great time for myself and my learning. I'm looking forward to keeping up this new routine. Good on you, Sinead. Oh, Anne can't watch them live. Can she rewatch them? Yeah, they're recorded for until Monday and they'll be all taken down then. David Ryan, the 6 a.m. Club is great. I love the positivity and the time for study and reflection. Some really positive results already, even just in the 30 minutes after and before the kids wake up at 7:30. That's what I like about it the most, David. I got 3 kids as well, and like their dad, they're full of energy and they like to get up early in the morning. And I get up at 5 and I've about 2.5 hours to myself. It used to be an hour and a half because Joni got up at 6, but thankfully they're all sleeping till about 7:30 now. And then I went and spoiled it all by getting myself 2 Jack Russell puppies a couple of weeks ago. And now I'm like, I had to do my cleanups for the last 2 weeks, but they're trained now, so it's really good. I get up, out you go, guys, and I get into my study. It's fantastic. I just started visualizing that they were going to get toilet trained, and they did. Denise Larkin, I love the 6 a.m. Club. Nobody up in a quiet house to get my study and my writing done. It's a great start to the day. I never thought I'd be saying that before I joined the academy. Here you go. And there's a lot more times you're going to be saying that last line. I never thought I'd be in Augusta until I joined the academy. Right, dear Denise? Who knows? We might be there together next April. Huey Doyle, great opportunity in the 6 a.m. Club. It's been so helpful since I started in January. Philip Morgan, good man. Great to see you here, buddy. Laura's quote this morning was very close to me. Yeah, she's fantastic. I don't know where I'd be without Laura. All right, guys. So let's get into it today. Okay. For the parents in this group, I'm going to read something for you now that really touched me in a very profound way when I read this poem. When I first started listening to Bob back in 2013, Dylan was only about just 6 months old, and you know my story. And I started thinking about the life I wanted to live. I spoke to a wonderful gentleman today who's in the academy about we work on personal and professional results. And this guy is busting his ass to get his professional results going, and he is going to do it. I have no doubt in my mind. And the balance of, running upstairs to get the work done, maybe not hanging out with the kids as much as he wants to. I was like, well, why are we waiting to tick this box of the professional and ignoring something that what we're doing all this for is kind of for the family anyway. So why not just experience it now? So he's a good follower and he's going to do exactly what I asked him to do. And he's going to have a great weekend with his wife and kids. But this poem really got me to understand the most important things in life. And I learned from Arash, actually, a very important phrase around this time. I was busting my ass to try and do it for June and the kids, and it was wrong. There's a certain proper way in this material about becoming selfish. Now, we think selfish means meanness, but it's not. When you're selfish, you're disciplined and you're taking care of what's important. I'm selfish with my time for June and the kids and for the clients and for the team. So that if friends say, like last week now, hey, Deck, do you want to go to the bar to watch Kerry and Tyrone? I probably wouldn't have come home with the depression. But no, look, I don't go to the bar anymore to watch games. I politely declined. But that would have been just a given. Like, if there's a match on, be it Liverpool Football Club or Kerry, we don't watch it in the bar. Like, I mean, even when we were kids, like, you don't watch a match at home. So I become selfish with my time, with my family, and that's okay. So it's okay to be selfish, even in a family situation. You've got to take care of your own mindset first. If we had a great question last night from a lady for Dave about I'm dreaming for 2 people. Dream for yourself. Get selfish. Now, selfishness and meanness are not the same. The opposite to selfishness is being self-obsessed. So when you're self-obsessed, and I was obsessed with, what about if I'm not good enough for June? What about if I fail my children? That's being self-obsessed. And what you usually do is you ignore what's important to you because you're trying to create the things outside of you that are not important. So this poem changed that for me. This poem made me realize that all the stuff, like June said one day, and I remember her chin was wobbling and there was tears in her eyes. And she said, we don't need all the stuff you think we need. We just need you. And it was gut-wrenching. But there was certainly that sentiment was there when I was just busting my ass to work my ass off to get it done. And I was just getting further into debt, to be honest. So this poem, Bob's colleague way back when, a guy called John Canary, read this poem on stage. And man, I was walking around Athenry listening to this. And then I went home and I got it and I printed it and I put it on my vision board. And I'm going to read it for you guys tonight. We've kind of a new theme in this masterclass. We started every evening with a poem. So why not? Why should I break up a winning strategy? It's going great. These poems, it gets us really thinking. There are little eyes upon you, and they are watching night and day. There are little ears that quickly take in every word you say. There are little hands so eager to do the things you do. And there are little ones who are dreaming of the day they'll be like you. You're the little person's idol. You are the wisest of the wise. And in his little mind about you, no suspicion would ever rise. He believes in you devotedly, and he holds all that you can do. He will say and do in your way when he's grown up like you. There's a wide-eyed little person who believes you are always right, and his ears are always open, and he's watching you day and night. You are setting an example every day in all that you do for the little one who's waiting to grow up to be just like you. That's tough to read, I can tell you. But look, guys, that's where I had a wake-up call, and I had to realize that the stuff that I was busting my ass to get, they didn't need any of that. They wanted me there, and they wanted me. And when I was there with them, they wanted me present, not checking my phone. So there's an awful lot more to what we do in the academy that you might think is, it's the shiny cars and this. We really want to wake people up when it comes to turning their thoughts into things, and not the BS thoughts, the limiting beliefs, the doubt, fear, and worry. Because as sure as night follows day, if you continue to live with those, you will continue to get the results you don't want. You've got to get involved in a paradigm shift. And a paradigm shift happens two ways. Our wonderful Yelena typed it in the chat last night. A paradigm shift happens two ways. Once, with an emotional impact. You come home, they're better on the table, we're finished, I'm breaking up with you, I'm gone. You could this, and there's a note on the door saying, we're going out of business, I'm so sorry. Or the boss calls people down and say, guys, we're closing down in the next 6 weeks. I have to give you notice of redundancy. A certain thing called a COVID-19 comes in and shuts the world down. We can't wait anymore. If this year has taught us anything, and last year has taught us anything, is that the paradigm can be changed for you like that. June is from Newcastle West. She couldn't go to see her folks for the best part of a year. They're an hour and a half, 2 hours away. She can't do it. Can't go outside your zone, all this kind of stuff, A paradigm shift happens when a terrorist attack happens. A paradigm shift happens when the phone rings at 4 o'clock in the morning, which has happened to me in July 2009, and you find out that someone is gone, just like that. It happened a year and a half later on my birthday. Somebody else very near and dear to me decided they didn't want to be around anymore. So paradigm shifts happen, and they suck when they happen to you. When you make a paradigm shift happen for you, the changes are gorgeous. And what you're feeling in those 6 a.m. clubs, and I know it's going to be over 100 tomorrow because you're hearing how good it is. You're going to understand that it's not listening to some fella and some guest speakers talking about powerful information. You're immersed in it now. You're doing the worksheets. You're starting to allow your true words, your reality, to get the time to come out, to get onto paper, to look in the mirror, to look yourself in the mirror once and for all and say, I am strong, I am confident, I am powerful, I am honest, I am decent, I am disciplined, I have dignity. You don't have time to do that anymore. You're so busy. This masterclass is allowing you to see that when you get selfish a little bit and you start saying, I've got the time to change my life, I've got an hour a day, I've got 45 minutes a day, I've got a half an hour a day. But you know as well as I do, unless you get that time for yourself, you will get up, you'll get dressed, you'll go after the breakfast, or you'll skip the breakfast because you're just grabbing the keys and out to the office. And it becomes a hamster wheel. And there is nothing special about me or any of these people that you see, our clients, our team. They just have decided to take a step off the hamster wheel and just take action, think, feel, act, and take action on their goals. So we're going to listen to Bob now in a moment, and he's going to start showing you guys the good and the bad of knowledge and ignorance of how this works. Then I'm going to bring you back on, and I'm going to do a little bit of doodling with my pen and show you about this wonderful genie. And the genie is called the genie in the lamp. Now, the genie in the lamp only gives you 3 wishes, but the secret genie in our subconscious mind keeps giving you relationships, money, possessions, if that's your thing, business prosperity, calmness, focus, energy. People are getting up at 6 o'clock. They never thought they'd be saying that. Where's that energy after coming from? They're not taking anything like a Red Bull. It's the energy that was always lying dormant within. And they've been repeating, I don't have time. I don't have money. And it's the same thing. They don't have the time, they don't have the money. But now they've made a decision. I'm so happy and grateful now that I have energy, I'm focused, I'm effervescent, I have all of this. I've unleashed my power, and they're getting up at 6 and they're not going to bed till 11, and they're flying it. And they're getting so much done. And the procrastination's gone, and the effectiveness has gone up. The worry is gone, and the confidence has gone up. They see anxiety about 5 miles away, and they're like, oh, I see what's happening here. And they have strategies to go, sorry, not having it. They have people around them every day, and they're seeing their ups and their downs, their wins and their losses, and they understand that they're not the only mess up, as a lot of us think. It's like, oh, Declan, I'm the worst. You'll have trouble with me now. I'm the worst client. I'm a fierce procrastinator. And everybody eventually gets to the same. We're all coming to the center of town from different places. Some of us are going uphill. Some of us are going downhill. Some of us are taking a subway. Some of us are cycling. Some of us are on a pogo stick. Everybody's going on their own journey to get to that promised land, like to get to a place where they have time freedom, money freedom, freedom from worry, doubt, fear, freedom from criticism of others, because they're thinking about what they want, they're feeling into it, they're saying goodbye to habits that are not serving them anymore, and they're saying yes to goals that they always and always and always deserved. Okay, so today, while I'm loading up this video, what are the 3 wishes that you want most in the world? Write it down. This is session 3, the genie in the lamp. Write down those wishes. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. So it says, what if I told you that you have a secret genie inside that gives you as many wishes as you want? That's the sentence. What if I told you you have a genie within you that gives you as many wishes as you want? So we're going to listen to Bob now, and he's going to talk about some of the reasons why you have some of the results you don't want, and why you can get any of the results you do want. We're going to start really showing you the how now today with this phenomenal drawing called the Secret Genie. Okay, so Bob, take it away.
Don't ever want to stop studying it. The most valuable idea I have ever learned is that one right there on the screen. If you're watching this, if you ask Sandy Gallagher, she'll tell you without question that's the most valuable idea. And you can take everything you've learned and you can funnel it all back here. It'll all fall into place for you. Now, I see your head as your mind, and from the neck down as being the body, and your face would be part of the body. I see an imaginary line right across the center of your head. And on the top half, it's called the conscious mind, and the bottom half is called the subconscious. Now, the body is nothing but an instrument of the mind. What we want to do is gain a very clear understanding of the difference between the conscious and the subconscious mind. We want to learn how to take conscious control over our life. Yet most people don't. Most people are being controlled by other people, by conditions, by circumstance, by the energy in the particular area. I wouldn't even want to guess at the number of people that are being controlled by a spouse or a partner. This is so common. And then they blame the person that's controlling them. We want to leave all that nonsense behind. The conscious mind is your thinking mind. That is something very few people do. That's where you're taking your intellect and you're tapping into infinite. And you're taking that magnificent power and you're creating ideas from it. You're literally creating ideas. Your conscious mind, it's a part of you, and you have the ability, that's where your freedom comes in. You have the ability to think, and you've got to understand wherever you are, thought energy, creative energy is there. I don't care if you're on a crowded subway, you can separate yourself from everything that's going on around you. And you can move into a very quiet, relaxed state. You can think, Now, your conscious mind is what we refer to as the educated mind. That's the part that school deals with. That's the part that you could be just using here. We want you to use it properly. We don't want you to use the habits that you set up in school in here. We don't want you to do it like you did in school. You know, I'm going to write that down. I want to remember that. I'm going to write that down. I want to remember that. I want to write that down. I want to remember that. You can remember it ain't going to do you any good. You want to become aware of it. You want to sink it right into every fiber of your being. Now, this is also the part of you where your intellect is resident. And that's what separates you from all the rest of the animal kingdom. You have an intellect. You have intellectual factors. You've got these magnificent powers locked up within you. It is so powerful, and yet it's so misunderstood. So all these different terminologies and different abilities are in the conscious mind. Your subconscious operates totally different. Where your conscious mind, if you keep that in mind for a moment, your conscious mind has the ability to choose. Do you know that's your greatest power? J. Martin Coe wrote a book a number of years ago. It's a little book, but man, is it ever powerful. And it's called Your Greatest Power. Your greatest power is the ability to choose. That's your greatest power. And what you've got to understand is that everything you do, you choose to do it. Now, the choice may be unconscious, but you're choosing it. Since you have the ability to choose, you have the ability with everything that's going on to accept or reject it. Now, why would some people accept everything that's going on? They're programmed to. They're programmed just to accept what's in the papers, what's on the news, what somebody says. They have such low self-esteem, they don't believe their thoughts amount to anything. So whatever anybody else says or does, that's the way it is. Well, that's not the way it is. Let's understand we don't have to accept that. Now, when we reject what we hear, let's suppose we're rejecting what we hear about the economy, then we've got the ability to originate what we want. I can originate the kind of economy I want to have. That's not a bad idea. Do you agree? Here's something that you want to burn into your mind. Your subconscious mind must accept whatever you give to it. If you can relate the subconscious mind to the earth, only it's many times more fertile, the earth will accept whatever you plant. It will return what you plant. I love the way Earl Nightingale referred to that in The Strangest Secret. He said you can plant nightshade, a deadly poison, or not a 16th of an inch away, you can plant corn, a sweet food. One will grow with just as great an abundance as the other. You see, the energy's in the earth to cause the poison to grow. The energy's in the earth to cause the food to grow. Now, does the same energy that causes the poison to grow, is that the same energy that causes? No, it's not. Is it the same energy that causes a person to be depressed? Does that same energy cause another person to get excited? No. It's different energy. But your subconscious mind will accept whatever you give to it. And I'll tell you why it'll accept it. Because it has absolutely no ability to reject it. It is totally immoral. It does not judge. It doesn't know right from wrong. Doesn't know good from bad. Doesn't know big from small. Just accepts whatever you give to it, that's what grows. It's like, this is going to be really difficult. It'll be really difficult. Say, well, this is a breeze. It'll be a breeze. I don't like that person, and you're going to instantly start looking for what's wrong with them. I mean, you like her, you're going to instantly look for what's right, what's good. Your subconscious mind must accept whatever you give to it. Now, here's the big part. It cannot differentiate between what's real and what's imagined. This is why William James from Harvard, way back 1900, he said, it's the actor's technique. Act like the person you want to become. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. So what do the great actors do? They become what they imagine. But it isn't what they imagine, it's what somebody else imagined, and then they study it and they take on that script. Now, most people, I had somebody tell me one time, most people are extras in their own movie. They make somebody else the star. Your subconscious mind does not know if you're having a financial problem. Your subconscious mind doesn't know you're alone and lonely. Your subconscious mind doesn't know your business is having a problem. Your subconscious mind only knows what you give to it. You see, when you ask yourself a question, you don't ask yourself, can I do this? You ask yourself, do I want to do this? It's got to be based on wants. Your subconscious mind will accept whatever you give to it. So you got to stretch, really get the idea out there. Now let's look here for a moment. Here you are here, and let's say this is now, this is today. Now we know what we know about what we were talking about, the mind. We know that. We've got that straight in our mind. Now there's ideas that is streaming into our consciousness right now, and we have the ability, let's say they're all negative. We're getting it from newspapers, radio, other people. We have the ability in our conscious mind, because we have a reasoning factor, we can think. So we can think, I don't want that information. So we say, get out of here. And it's all got to go away. But we don't do that. Why don't we do that? Well, let's take a look. Instead of telling it to go away, we don't even think about it. We leave our mind wide open and it dumps right in. Why would we do that? Remember we said the subconscious mind can't reject? It's totally subjective. That's part of our paradigm. We just let what's going on around us control our feelings. Oh, we don't say, I'm going to let what's going on around me control my feelings. But you find yourself feeling really crappy. Why? I don't know. What's the energy that you're accepting? It's the energy you're letting come into your subconscious mind. Now, why would a human being do that? Why would an adult that has the ability to think do that? That's the paradigm. How did that paradigm get formed? I mean, why would anybody do that? Well, let's close the curtain on that for a moment and raise it over here for a moment. That's today we were talking about. Let's go back to the time you were just a little baby. You're an infant. You see, the conscious mind that we talked about had the ability to accept or reject. We had the ability to originate. We had the ability to think for ourselves. We had the ability to choose. We didn't have any of those abilities as a baby. They're all in our conscious mind, and that conscious mind had not developed. So whatever was going on around was going right into the subconscious mind. Almost all welfare recipients are third, fourth, fifth generation welfare recipients, because the baby's sitting there just like a sponge, soaking up all the energy, the thoughts, the actions, the bickering, the worrying that's going on. It goes right into the baby's mind. In fact, do you know that the self-image you have was formed way back there in your little life when you didn't even have the ability to think? It's interesting, isn't it? It's real interesting. How you feel about money? How you feel about effectiveness yourself? How you feel about your creative abilities? How you think and feel about everything was pretty well determined way back here, before you even had the ability to go to school. The language you speak, the kind of food you like to eat, how you dress, how you walk, how you talk, all the little idiosyncrasies that you picked up that mom or dad or Aunt Martha or whoever had. It's all programmed right here into the subconscious mind. And that's where the self-image is formed. Now, the self-image, that's what I think of me. But I didn't have the ability to think. So my self-image was formed based on what other people were thinking about whatever was going on. And it goes right in the subconscious. Now that's one idea. The paradigm is a multitude of ideas. Robert Heinlein said, in absence of clearly defined goals, we become strangely loyal to performing daily trivia until ultimately we become enslaved by it. What do you find a lot of people doing? Playing computer games, playing on their phone. Daily trivia until ultimately they become enslaved by it. It's controlling their life. Now forget about yourself for a moment and think of somebody else around you. Think of how they're living. Then ask yourself, I wonder if they understand any of this. You see, the truth is, the self-image is one idea, a multitude of them turned into a paradigm. And the paradigm is a program that's written in your subjective mind that controls almost all of your habitual behavior. And almost all of your behavior is habitual. Most people don't think at all. Stand back and watch the way people live. It's going to be obvious they're not thinking, or they'd never do what they're doing. Listen to what the average person's talking about. It's obvious they're not thinking. They never talk about what they're talking about. And we almost all fall into that category. So here we are now, 30, 40, 50 years later, and we're operating the same as we were when we were 4 or 5 years old. Same ideas are in control of us. Almost all welfare recipients, third, fourth, fifth generation welfare recipients. I started to study this before any of my children were born. And I mentioned earlier, I didn't ask them if they were going to school, I asked them where they were going to school. The whole ball game changed. Because I was setting goals, they set goals. I drove a nice car, they drove a nice car. I'd fly in the front of the plane, they'd fly in front of the plane. All the good and all the bad habits we pick up at a very early age. I tell a story about when Linda and I first got together. We were out shopping one day, and I said, you know something, I'd like a turnip. And I picked one up, and she said, what's that? I said, it's a turnip. Oh, she said, I'm not eating that. I said, what do you mean you're not? It's a turnip. Well, she said, we feed that to the pigs. That's the root of the turnip. I said, what do you eat? She said, we eat the green of the turnip. I said, isn't that the damnedest thing? We give that to the pigs. Now, you see, I was born and raised in northern Ontario here in Canada. She was born and raised in southern Alabama and Florida. Two totally different cultures. That was 30 years ago. We still don't eat turnip. I mean, who the hell cares? That's my attitude towards it. I'm not going to try and get her to eat the green or get her to eat the root. She's not going to try and get me to eat. So we just don't eat turnip. You know? Now, when my mother was alive, if we were going to her place for dinner, she'd, what do we want? I said, I'd like some turnip. She would always cook it for me. Now, everybody's got a story like that. There's things in your background that you do because mom did, dad did, grandma did, great grandma. And it goes back. If we study our behavioral patterns, if we study our ability to earn money, if we study our creative expression, it's not something you're choosing to do now. It's something that was programmed in at a very early age. Paradigms are powerful. They're very powerful. What we should do is ask ourselves every now and then, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Now look at this. Here we are here. as a child. But adults, if you study most adults, I don't care who they are, study them, and you will see the patterns. There's patterns in their life. If you just journaled for maybe a week, everything you do all day, you'll see that there's patterns. There's literal patterns. It starts with what time do you get up? It starts with what do you do when you get up? Ask yourself, are you productive every day? I'm a very productive guy, but not by accident. I'm productive by choice. I have just become super productive. And it doesn't matter what anybody else in the company is doing, doesn't matter what anybody around me is doing, I'm going to stay productive. I just do my work. Not just my work no more, but a little more for the elevation's sake. I just go into it. It's habit. That's what paradigm is. Paradigm is nothing but a multitude of habits. Well, it took me 10 years to figure out what I had done. Over a period of time, I literally reprogrammed my mind. I wrote a new paradigm. Yet because I wrote the new paradigm, and I take this idea and I take that idea, and I kept reading this book, and I kept reading it, all the people in there had an influence on me. If I have a problem that I'm having difficulty with, I'll write it out in a piece of paper. I'll put it in the middle of a dining room table. And I'll sit down and I'll look at it. Say, now, is the problem in me or is it on the paper? And if it's in me, I stay there until I get it on the paper. I get objective. I put it on the paper. Then I may go and sit at the other end of the table. I'd say, how would Napoleon Hill look at that situation? Now, I have studied Napoleon Hill for long enough. I got a pretty good idea how he'd look at it. Then I go and sit somewhere else. How would Earl Nightingale look at this situation? You say, how would Andrew Carnegie look at this situation? And I start to see, because I've studied all these people, I know what they're like. I can get into their energy. And you know something? The situation changes completely right in front of my eyes, and then knock it out of the way. I think. I don't follow everybody around me. Now, I'm not saying this as some great thing about me. I have just studied this, and I've consciously and deliberately started to do it. Every mentor I had, I would study them like a scientist. I wanted to see what they're good at. And then I wanted to learn from them about that. It's like I was telling you earlier, when Sandy said she had done $100 billion in business, I wanted to pay attention to everything she said about money. And I'm going to tell you, she is a financial genius. Without question, she is. You've got to go to people that know what they're doing. Find out what they're doing. Understand what they're doing. Get help from those people. We are being controlled by the paradigm. And I don't care how well you're doing. It's the paradigm that's doing it. You could be doing really well. You can do better. Understand you're dealing with infinite. What are paradigms? There are a multitude of habits.
Okay, everybody, I really, really want you to get tuned in right now for the last 5 minutes of this. This last 5 minutes is the secret that was left out of the secret. Okay, you really got to pay attention to the last couple of slides and the last couple of minutes of what Bob's going to say as to why people don't get the results from personal development. Pay attention. I'm watching. Alrighty, hang on. How do I get myself back out of here? There we go. Take it away, Bob.
But here's the part you want to grasp. They are other people's habits. We are the product of somebody else's habitual way of thinking. Paradigms literally control the lives of most people. Most of the time. Now, I want you to go back and think of the concept we went through in the little life, where the baby's mind is wide open. Then we send the baby to school. Now, the yellow represents the organized education model. The white represents the model we're talking about here. A person goes to school and they hear what the teacher's saying. And because they hear what the teacher's saying, they gather information. Now, let's understand what gathering information is. It is not learning, it's gathering information. And that's where the books start to pile up inside. But that is not learning, it's gathering information. And then at some given point, throughout the year, usually a few times, they will have exams or tests. And the teacher or the professor will come along and they'll ask questions to see if you know what you've learned. That's what they tell us. And if we pass the test, if we get more right than wrong, they'll say, you know. That is not knowing. That is not knowing. That's gathering information. Now, let's see the difference here. You hear with your ears. You listen with your emotions. You can gather information without getting emotionally involved in it. When you listen, odds are pretty good you will learn. Now, learning is when we consciously entertain an idea, we get emotionally involved in the idea, we step out and act on the idea. Now, this is experiential learning. You act on the idea, you do it. And because you do it, the results change. Now, it's the feedback to the consciousness of the change that took place in the result that's the learning experience. Think of that. Back it up. Learning is when we consciously entertain an idea, we get emotionally involved in that idea, we step out and we act on the idea, we literally do it. And we change the results. And it's the feedback to our consciousness of the change in results that's a learning experience. There is a very strong possibility that you will work with the top model here with this information.
Okay, so thank you, Bob. Thank you for popping in. Hang on, let's do this. So everybody pay attention to that. We're going to bring on Frida in a moment. And when we think back to Arash Vasagi, David Conway, Frida, tomorrow going to be speaking to an amazing gentleman called Doug Dane. Myself, my team, the people you're studying with at the moment in the 6 a.m. club, we all hear stuff all the time. We gather information. I mean, how many times today have you looked through Instagram or Facebook or done a bit of browsing maybe on some sort of an online shop? Can you remember every garment you viewed? Can you remember every celebration of a birthday or a meal that you saw? Somebody's at a cliff top taking a selfie. Did you remember who it was? Not really. We look at it with our conscious mind. We hear, see, smell, taste, touch. We gather a little bit of information. We don't know anything different about ourselves or our world or our potential from that model. We've been raised to, as Albert Einstein said, we've been raised and we're living in a civilization that really honors the conscious mind. You know, follow this, listen now, pay attention. In marketing, when I started working for myself in 2005, I did some marketing courses, and it said a person has to see your ad about 5 or 6 times before they'll entertain that they're going to buy something from you. That has gone to over 18 times now. 18 times you have to really kind of bug somebody online or have lots of different branding on your business or advertising through all different sorts of paraphernalia before someone will go, oh yeah, I know about this person, or recommend you. That's the difference in how distracted the human being is in 13 years, from 5 or 6 flashes in front of their eyes to 18 times or more before they'll even entertain doing anything with you in business. That's extraordinary in such a short time, what it's done to the human condition, the heavy levels of distraction. So there's a lot of noise out there now. There's a lot of distraction. We are busier than we've ever been. When I was a kid, you cycled to swimming lessons, you swam, you shivered, you cycled home, and there was food ready. Now there's like 30 SUVs at the beach, and they're there with warm towels and blankets and hot chocolates. Look, I do it as well. Parents are really, really busy. Business people are really busy because they have to have a social media presence. It used to just be motivating your staff, serving your customers, buying your products. Now you've got to be a an Instagrammer, like in whether you have a barber shop or a bookmakers or whatever. Everyone's getting involved in bringing the people in on their laptops and their devices into their businesses. So there's so much distraction, there's so much busyness out there now. We hear, see, smell, taste, and touch. We gather information, but we're not absorbing it. The reason you're feeling such a shift this week is we're getting you to really listen to your own inner workings of what you truly want. Desire inside of us. If you're a runner, you want to run faster. If you're a professional footballer or an amateur footballer, you want to get better at it. It's a normal thing. If you're an accountant, you want to upskill and become better at your job. If you're a parent, you want to be a better parent. If you're into food, you want to eat better. You want to cook better. It is nothing wrong with you for wanting more. And we're being kind of portrayed as being greedy, and the world is, there's different things that we shouldn't do. And we were raised probably to say, look, you've had your fair share. Don't want for more. When it comes to life potential, this is not a trial run. You're getting one shot at this. So to turn the taps down and to quell and to suppress your own inner being that wants more, you've got to listen to that. And you've got to learn from people who can get you there. And then you've got to do the things that they're doing to get there. I really want to work with, rough pieces of wood. I'm going to apply to like the National Park in Killarney, and when the tree falls, they cut it up. You can buy a chunk, and the money you give goes back into the preservation. And I'm going to put that on a lathe, and I'm going to do some wood turning, and make a fruit bowl or make something. I love working with it. But I don't know how to do it right now. But I'm going to watch experts. I'm going to learn from one of the best guys. One of the most watched people in the world lives in the Cork and Kerry border. I'm going to learn from him. I might employ him for a day to teach me. I'm going to listen to what that man says, because I'm ignorant in his way of doing things, and I'm going to learn from him. You've got to listen to what we're telling you this week. You've got to learn from us, but then you've got to go and actually do it. We've seen, even I don't watch this too much. It doesn't bother me that much, but 700 people joined our masterclass, and there's 149 of you here live. There's probably going to be another 149 watching back. There's about 350 people who said, oh my God, I want to do this. And then their paradigm is like, hey, get busy doing something else. Don't do that. Because the paradigm feels a little bit of a shift. And it's like, if they do this, they'll change. And they think the paradigm kind of feels change is bad or good. It doesn't know which. But we have been learned that if it's scary, it's bad. If it looks like it's going to be hard, it's bad. If it could change our lives even for the better, what about if I mess it all up and lose it again? So we've been trained to just go along with everything else. But when you've got that desire inside you anymore, you can't switch that off anymore, because if we do that and we blame other people, then that is inappropriate. It is ourselves, really, our paradigm that is holding us back. But you're not going around with blinkers anymore. You are aware that there are people out there that can help you to change your paradigm and therefore change your results. I see a lady who watched our masterclass. I think she actually binge watched the whole thing one weekend, Yvonne. Yvonne said, this is so powerful, and so few of us realize that we have the choice. We get to choose what we want from our life. I am so happy and grateful I found Declan in the course. Thank you, Yvonne. Lovely to have met you here in Valencia again twice in the last while, and great to have you back here. Through this program, I've learned so much wisdom from my grandkids. They're great teachers. That's awesome. The subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between what's real and what's imagined. I love that. Okay, everybody. Well, look, we're going to bring this meeting in for a bit of a landing. What I want you to do is I want you to go into that workbook that we have. Hang on, there I am. Okay, so go back into the workbook that we have and find the page that has this little square box, right? And I want you to follow along. I'm going to do a little drawing, and then we're going to bring Frida on in a couple of minutes, and we're going to draw the stick person in here. So let's share my screen for, that's so funny. I just got to check this out. I got a message from Danny Proctor. I'll tell him. I told Danny to tell Bob that one of the prizes that we are going to get today, the person, by the way, the prize tonight for doing this homework, for taking a picture of you with your homework and sharing it in the group, and from sharing the link as well, inviting people to join our masterclass, you're going to be in a draw to be selected to go on a helicopter ride with me. I'm going to take you up in a helicopter over the lakes of Killarney. You got to make your own way to Killarney, and you got to find somewhere to stay, or else go back. I don't know. but we're going to go up in a helicopter together and we're going to do a 30-minute coaching session. I want to do it on the helicopter. I'm manifesting that there'll be nobody else, just the two of us, because if there's other people with the headphones on, it won't be easy to do it. You mightn't be finding it too easy to concentrate, but I think it'll be a cool place to do it, flying over Ireland's highest mountains and all that stuff. But anyway, that's besides the point. We're going to get into that in a moment. But I want you to do this homework, okay? So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go here. And there we have it. I'll open that window there and share. Okay, so let me see what you can see now. Yeah, you can see me on the small screen. Okay, so let's make that bigger. So now I want you to draw in that box in your worksheet. I want you to draw a large circle, a line down from it, and a small circle. And I want you to get the large circle to represent the mind. Because if you can't change your mind, you can't change your results. And the mind is divided up into two parts, okay? We have got, give me a sec, we have got this conscious and we got the subconscious. So what I want you to do is get your pen and go right through the middle and divide up the mind into two. So we got the conscious mind and we got the subconscious mind. Now, this subconscious mind, this is our secret genie. When you're thinking about someone and all of a sudden they ring, or if you're kind of visualizing something and it happens, good or bad, it's happening in here, because it's in here that you are getting emotionally involved in your idea. Now, over the next 2 days, we're going to be developing this concept a lot more, but I just want to give you the secret that they are leaving out of the secret, just like Bob said a moment ago. I know that you are here and you would all love your results to just be that little bit better. Not because there's anything wrong with you, not because you're greedy, just because wouldn't it be nice if you had a little bit more money, if you had more time, if you had more happiness, if you had more confidence. Well, I'm going to tell you that you're the only person that has the solution to that. We can give you the solution, we can provide the accountability, we can support you. But until you learn how to think and feel, think the thoughts that go into the conscious mind, learn how to accept or reject the ones. Accept the ones you want, reject the ones you don't. Until you learn how to feel into those ones that you accept, and until you learn how to take the appropriate actions, of which there are two kinds. One is the physical actions that you take your body out and do things. We had a beautiful couple with us last week. They went, our last masterclass, they went out to join the academy, Paul and Sarah. They are thinking and feeling and acting in a new way now. We got them to take some actions that time. We got them to take out and drive an SUV and send some pictures into the masterclass. That's physical actions where they thought about what they wanted. They got emotionally involved. They took their bodies out and put them into this car and drove it and experienced what it's like to drive a beautiful SUV like that. I just want to make sure that I'm live. Yeah, awesome. I want to make sure you can see what you can see. Okay, just give me 1 sec. I just want to make sure. Yes, good. I can see the drawing there. So your thoughts, your feelings, and actions, and the actions are in two ways. It's the physical action that you do, but it's also the non-physical action, or the vibrations, okay? The vibrations. This is the vibration and attraction masterclass. There's no point in going out and do something in a fearful state, thinking to yourself, for example, something along these lines, like, let's try this color here for a minute, green. Imagine going along thinking, look, yes, I really want the new job, but I probably won't get it. Do you think you're going to be going along with a really good vibrational state and taking good vibrational actions? Because the actions you take, they get you a reaction, and that reaction defines your new results. What Yvonne said about there a moment ago in her like little brief testimonial in the chat there, what she is referring to, why she feels better, why she feels happier, is that it's the results. It's the new results that I did not create, Bob Proctor did not create, my team, Laura, Ernestine, nobody created that for Yvonne. She did, because she changed how she's thinking. She's learning how to think differently from mentorship and guidance and support and accountability and being around this material with this kind of a mentor all of the time. So she's thinking in a different way. Now, she has learned how to block off, because I can assure you in her journey, and she will tell you the same, and everybody who's here, Katrina, Lorraine, everyone knows that they had doubts as well. But from talking to me, from talking to our team, they've learned how to reject what they don't want, reject the minus ones, the negative ones, and take in the positive ones. So when people say, I'm into positive thinking, they're showing an expression of ignorance. It's not just about the thinking, because it's about taking them down and feeling them as well. So you get into the feeling mind. This goes out of your body in a vibrational state that attracts everything that you need, but it also gets you to take actions in a certain way. Who doesn't love somebody walking confidently into a restaurant or into an office? They're in a good vibrational state. I know for one thing that really is attractive to people is confidence. Ladies on here, I'm sure you would say that confidence is a very attractive. I've heard that a lot. Confidence is a very attractive thing to see in the opposite sex, right? So confidence is something that's not just the way their posture, it's their feelings as well. You know that if someone is confident in a sales presentation, or if someone is confident in their work, you can be damn sure that that person is thinking in a particular way for the outcome that they want. They're feeling into it. They just know what's going to happen, and they're taking appropriate actions. I know every single person watching this live tonight has done that, but you've often done it when you've had to become resourceful. You've often done it when the chips are down. When you're given a task like, okay, the water pipe is leaking, there's water pouring into the living room, we got to do something. All you're thinking is, I want to fix this. You're feeling going to get fixed, or maybe you're doubting you'll get it fixed, but you're going to take the actions to get it fixed because you have to. People changing their life from desperation is not the way to do it. You've got to get inspired. Frida's going to come on in a moment now. You can log in, Frida, if you're ready to go. One of the things I saw her saying in the chat was, it's not necessarily that you have to know how you're going to do this. In fact, just like me, I'm sure Frida spent a lot of the time getting clear on her goal. We used to put a lot of emphasis in to get your goal, get clear on your goal during the masterclass, but it's such a short window. People are thinking, oh, I can't do this because I don't have my goal. In fact, we spend the first 7 days, but sometimes 2 weeks working with people in the academy and getting clear on their professional goal and their personal goal. And I don't really let them go ahead to the next module until they have a goal that makes them go, wow. Because when you energize your new goal will energize your life, and it'll help you to say no to the sweets at nighttime. It'll help you to say no to the person who wants to drain your energy every single time they pick up the phone. You say no to what's not serving you, and you say yes to yourself and your new life. Okay, so thanks for watching along today. What I want you to do is to go back over Bob's video, draw out the stick person, and take a picture with the stick person. I know people are getting uncomfortable doing that, but that's good. You got to get uncomfortable. Draw the stick person out again, take a picture of it, share the link, share the masterclass, and we will have you. And tomorrow at 9 o'clock, I'm going to go live, and I'm going to tell everybody who has won the 9 to 5 style, the style search styling, who's won that prize for the Monday session, who has won the prize yesterday for the family pass to Tato Park. And then tomorrow night, I'm going to tell you who's winning the prize to go up in a helicopter with me over the lakes of Killarney for a 30-minute coaching session. I can't wait. I can't wait for that one. All right. Maybe I'll go to Tato Park with the family too. It'll be the biggest baby there. All right. Let's get into it. Let's bring on Frida. Here she comes.
Hello.
Frida, how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. I was hoping that I could get some amazing sunset with you guys here, but we were a little bit too late, unfortunately.
Yeah, I could see it in the background, and that's why I talked too long, because I didn't want you making all these Irish people jealous of your beautiful environment. Well, you know what? You deserve to be there because you made a decision you were going to do it, and you were going to move from Sweden to Spain about 6 months ago, I think, and that's your new life now. So, Frida, tell me a little bit more about your journey from when you first found a colleague of mine, a gentleman called Tigran, and you heard about this Thinking into Results program, and you started working with this Bob Proctor information. Tell me what has happened in your life. This week, we're talking a lot about self-image and paradigm. Let's hear from you. What's been going on in your life in the last, is it 18 months?
Yeah, something like that. Actually, I was a little bit like Bob was talking about. I was like this um do you say incompetent? I did stuff, but I didn't know that I did stuff before
Yeah.
that. So I think my journey was about 4 years, but then I was kind of at a turning point. I tried so many different things as an entrepreneur. I just wanted to do my own thing, and I couldn't figure it out. I
Mm,
seriously couldn't figure it out. I tested everything, and me and my business partner Adib, who is from Norway, we just basically came around this Tigran, who is also a consultant for Bob Proctor in Sweden, and he took us in like under the wings because he saw that we had well, we had two things. The one thing was that we were super willing to
mm,
do things. We said yes to everything. We just had a lot of will. Um, and then we were not afraid of failing. So he said, "Well, you know what? Come on board, and we can hang out if you guys start making money. Then we can hang out." So you're like, okay, well, we got to start figuring out how to make money if we're gonna be in this circle.
mm,
But basically, it came after like one of our breakdowns in one of our companies,
mm,
where we didn't know how to proceed. And we started working with Tigran. We went in like everyone who's in the 6 a.m. club. We had that at 8, but everyone was at the office, super dressy, looking good like you are doing now, Declan. And we read all these different things, from Thomas Troward and
mm.
all these things that me and Adib we never heard about. We never read that kind of text before, and yeah, that's just where it all started.
And roll on a few months, then your business prosperity started to increase. So, what was it like? You got clear on your goals. You feel your energy went up. What was it? Because this is the vibration and attraction masterclass. So, why did your business prosperity went up? I mean, you're talking about like a seven-figure business now, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So basically, we went from a more or less zero income, just like different projects, making a living from a month to month, on a consulting basis. And we did, well, now we've done almost 1.2 million euros in less than 12 months under the pandemic. So we have, it's just been really, really crazy. But I would definitely say that our vibration changed, and
Mm-hmm.
also something that is something that we struggled with for a long time, especially me and my partner,
Mm-hmm.
that we there were so many people around us who told us that it wasn't a good way to go.
Yeah.
So we just stopped telling them and went on it with it anyway. And that kind of was a good way to really change the vibration and be very careful what input that you take in. And then all of the sudden there was just so many things happening at once.
Yeah, so we'll be talking about that on Friday. It's called the acceleration and creation phase. When things start happening, we see that it's like Michael Jordan. I know he's quoted saying it. Maybe it come from somebody before him, but he said it seems like the harder I work, the luckier I get. But sometimes there's that person in the community or that person you went to school with, and you're just kind of observing what's going on, and then stuff starts to click for them, and it's like, look what else he's doing, look what else he's doing, and like I get that myself from some of my friends, and I met a lady on the beach actually on Sunday. We haven't met for the longest time, and it was as usual a meeting through dogs. And she's like, she kind of had me on her own for a minute. She goes, "I'm watching Instagram. It's amazing what's been happening for you," and that's just the way it is. The acceleration and creation
Mhm.
phase, as you said. Once you kind of break through and you start getting a few results, it just becomes a new formula, isn't it? It becomes a new paradigm, which, the way the old paradigm attracts what you don't want, the new paradigm
Yeah.
attracts what you do want. So give me an example, because what I see working close with you, what I love about it, and Laura would be the same, it's quite effortless. You take everything in your stride. And I know it's like in lesson 9 in Thinking Results, we talk about attitude. You have an excellent attitude. Nothing is too big or too small. Nothing is a problem. It's always on the same level, this equilibrium. How come it seems like your energy is slowed down, but your results keep going up? How does that feel?
Well, that is something that's amazing. I would say like spot on with the attitude. So, we work a lot with our attitude and just to kind of, you know, always try to see why things are happening and take credit for both the bad and the good.
Yeah.
So like, so we live in Spain now, and I can wake up in the morning. I was like, "There's sunny," and I made that. And my partner goes like, "But we live in Spain. It's 320 sunny days a year." And I was like, "Yeah, but I don't care. I wanted sun, and I got sun, and
Yeah.
that's my effort." So I take credit for that, even though it like the smallest things.
Yeah.
But then also when something, something bad happens, I also take 100%, you know, responsibility for that. So I think that that's, a great way of having an attitude, like working on your attitude, just to kind of take a step back and just see what's happening. Okay, well, you know what? I can see why that happened. That was because of that thought or that feeling or that reaction I did 2 months ago, maybe. But I
Mm.
can always pick it back exactly what moment made it come from me to the like from the universe to me with interest today, good or bad.
I like that. I like that you say that it comes with interest, because it does seem to give it back tenfold. Like I get nice. You've seen my Instagram and various things. I get lovely sunrises here, where my home is, and it's the 2 hours on my own with the dogs, with my nice coffee, with my study, and maybe 50 days of the year it's warm enough that, and it's not raining, that I can go outside and sit there. And the house has given me my goal, my study, this material has given me a lovely home and a lovely business premises and a place to raise my family. And my son is heckling me outside the window now as we say that. But these are the extra moments. There's this extra ripple effect whereby
Yeah.
it inspires others. It gets you to kind of say, look at that sunset. I couldn't have seen that if I didn't kind of change my life. Frida,
Yeah.
what has this done for, like, your mom visited Spain recently. She's giant. She waved in at one of our business meetings. What do
Yeah.
you think it's done for, like, her little girl to grow up and to live this type of a lifestyle because of a flipping personal development program, like, and your own efforts? I know it's not just the program, you made it work, but what does it feel like for your mom, for example? Or have you noticed a change in your family when you've gone through this big transformation in such a short time?
Well, definitely. And I think as I said, like I try to not involve them too much in the beginning because they couldn't understand it.
Yeah.
But now, since we actually have a little bit more to show, or I show you or any other person who talks about this except me, but she spent 10 days here and she was, she really started to understand what it is that we are doing
Yeah.
and how it works. So like the transformation for her, like one very clear example, for example, on how you look at things, Bob was talking about that in the video. Like,
Yeah.
how do you view obstacle or problems in different angles? So we were sitting at a dinner and she told me, in 5 years I'm going to be retired and I'm going to have only 60% of my salary. So I have to, do everything now so I can lower my my spending or my cost
Yeah.
in 5 years. And I was like, well, you know what if we just flip it around? So how can you earn an extra grand a month, for example, in 5 years from now? Can we just like play with that thought? And she was like, I never thought about it this way, but it's much more fun. It's like, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I've got something for your mom, Frida, because this is something I'm actually going to share with everybody. I hadn't planned on saying this, but I use my imagination and my intuition. So the imagination is like making a phone call, and the intuition just grabs an idea. So I was asking, while you were talking about your mom and her retirement, I was like, "Will I share this with everybody?" Because I was actually going to only tell my family this on Friday night at dinner time. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get like a couple of thousand, and I'm going to put it in each of the children's accounts, my wife's account and my own account. We're just going to play with it. And I'm going to say, we've got a year to double it. Layla is 11, Dylan is 8, going to be 9 November, Joni's 6. And I'm going to say, do whatever you want, come up with an idea, and we'll double it. So they have to buy something and sell it and double it. If you double it in a year, you're 4. If you keep doubling 4 to 8, 8 to 16, 16 to 32, every year you've got to double it. In 9 years, you have 500,000, and in the 10th year, you have 1,000,000. I think it could even be the 9th year. If you start with 2 grand and you keep doubling it 9 times, you get to 1,000,000. And I just like, let's do it for fun. I would say that to your mom. Start her off with 10 grand, Frida, and get her to double
Yeah.
it. Mom, you've a year to double it. And just don't worry about the how. I'm just going to get them to play with the information. Just attract an idea that if you take let's say you buy 2,000 tennis balls, and for €1 each, you sell them for €2. You've done it, just whatever it takes, go for it. And we're just going to have fun with that. So that's what a gift I want to give to your mom tonight,
Oh,
live on air. just for fun. Who cares? It's just a bit of fun. All right, Frida.
yeah.
So I won't keep you too much longer. I'll let you go to your lovely sunset in lovely Spain. Tell me, Frida, what advice would you give to people? Because like you sent me some images and I was going to do a slide presentation. There's an image of a bunk bed. That's what we call them in Ireland anyway. And yourself and your boyfriend have this bunk bed. Your belongings are underneath it. And at the end of the bunk bed, which has this railing, you go down the 3 steps and there's an office and it's like wedged right up against. That was your room. That was your bedroom. Is that correct? Like,
That was our apartment. That was a
sorry
22
for that.
square meters in Stockholm.
That's incredible. That was how much? How many
22
meters?
square meters.
Wowzers. Wowzers. So,
Yeah.
so
I
what's
just sold it actually.
all right.
Just sold it. Yeah. No,
Congratulations.
but it was, yeah, but it was funny because that picture I took around May last year, and I could see, I went into the picture and I zoomed in, and I could see that I had put up a target of 100,000 Swedish, which is about 10 grand in euros, and it was so far away, like it was incredibly far away. Was earning zero, and then we did, we tripled that in just like a month later, 32 days.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's lovely. So I just see a comment here. A lady, Diane, lovely lady. It's always
Mhm.
putting in some nice comments and great to have you on the masterclass. So she said, "See, I can't understand that. And you're saying 2,000 to do that experiment, for example. Well, that's what I've chosen to do. You can start with €1 and double euro and then double €2. You see that the paradigm will say, I can't do that or I can't understand that. I mean, you can understand it for a start. Or if you think about an enormous ship that travels across the Atlantic, it's only got a time rudder that steers it. Our words and our tongues are powerful. We've got to be careful how we use our words, but they're also a great indicator of what's at the control system inside. So the paradigm is what's in control at the moment, and it got you to type in, I can't understand that. Well, you can understand it, but what I think you're trying to say is, I don't have 2,000 at my disposal that I will actually go and partake in that particular experiment. But see, what the paradigm says is, I can't understand that. You can. The paradigm is very strong to help us to find ways to stay where we are. You could start with 100 or 200. You could, by the way, you don't have to start at all. All you got to do is say, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have well more than 2,000 at my disposal, so I can buy a brand new washing machine and do this experiment. But you know what? You don't have to do it. That's the thing. You don't have to accept anything. You do not have to do it. It's a choice, and we got to do it based on wants, on our imagination, on our passions and our desires. And that's what we're going to be doing throughout the next couple of days. So thanks for your wonderful comment. Somebody said our vision board is advisable. Did you have a vision board, Frida?
Oh yeah. Well, I've had many, and I always keep forgetting about them even though they are there. And then I go back like a year later and I was like, wow, I got that and that. So the other day, so I draw my vision boards, so I don't put up pictures.
All
But
right.
yeah, but I had this, and there, so no one will see it probably, but that's a private chef. So that,
Okay.
oh, I can't do it
Go,
there.
oh, go this
That's,
way. Go this way, little, yeah.
yeah. So I got a private chef up there, and when you texted me and wanted to have some information from me on Monday, I was just sitting there and I was writing some information, and then I looked up at my vision board and I was like, it says a private chef there. And then I go into my kitchen and there's a private chef there. And that, so everything just kind of manifests, like I would say, very, very effortlessly from the vision board. I would recommend anyone to have a vision board. But I also know how it is to, hear all this information starting from scratch and like wanting to understand it and wanting to do something with it, but have
Yeah.
zero clue on actually where to start. And it's it's not that complicated when when you know the formula, but it keeps, you need to have constant reminding. So
Yeah.
that's why I still like, the Bob Proctor program that you work with,
Yeah.
thinking it results. Like
Oh, you still.
I still have my book. I still read it. I still go through the program with my team every single day, because it takes reminding. Today, me and my business partner took a decision to have a better attitude because we've been having a bad attitude for about a week, and
Yeah.
we could see the effects of it straight away.
Yeah.
The same thing as when I have a great attitude, I manifest stuff in no time,
In no
same
time.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody in the masterclass, Frida, experienced this because, as you know, you were helping us with our marketing and our adverts and putting out stuff like Declan and Bob Proctor, and it was a very heavy moment to read an email saying he can't attend. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, and within a second we're like, okay, we're gonna fix it. And we asked another lady to join us, and she will join us probably at the end of the week. An incredible woman. Something unfortunately came up; she couldn't attend. And within an hour of me choosing the 10 out of 10 attitude, I went vacuuming my wife's car, taking all the sand out of it from the beach, and then Arash rings up, and he did a beautiful interview on Monday. Everybody really loved it. It can happen so fast when even that
Yeah.
lovely lady who commented, "I can't get 2 grand" or something. Don't even worry about it. Just think, I'm so happy and grateful that I have at least 5,000 euros. And I know your paradigm is like putting a big brick wall around you, going, nope, it can't happen. There's nobody standing behind you saying you must make it work. Just choose to if you want to, and it's incredible what can happen. Like the reason you're on this call, Frida, I said years ago, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have this type of a company, and we work with experts from all over the world. And Adib actually popped up on LinkedIn, and he was kind of asking me this and that about growing my business. And I tried to get back to him several times, and he wasn't getting back to me, and I wasn't getting back to him. And I was kind of saying, I don't really like his attitude. And then I just listened to my intuition, and I was like, do I work with these people? Yes or no? And it was like, get on a call. I was like, okay, I'll get on a call. And I got on a call, and I just felt something, and I was like, okay, let's do this. And I actually hadn't met you at all. It was Adib, and off we went from there. But there was absence of evidence at times. There was times it wasn't working for us. It was working for us. But when you have an overall vision, when you're locked into that, there is nothing that will stop it. It is going to happen. And, that's why things work really well between ourselves, you and me, and our team, is because we always think about the result that we want, and we just get excited about the how. So, Frida, for people who are looking at a goal, who are thinking about changing their life, who are inspired by this masterclass, what would you tell somebody who's like, I'm in Stockholm, I'm in a 20 square meter apartment, I'm dreaming of with my lovely artistic drawing, um, beautiful. I can tell you've done years of art college there. That I'm going to be living in Spain. I mean, there must have been times you were looking at that sheet of paper and going like I was, it's such a load of rubbish. Like can't work. Like why do you tell somebody who's like locked into those old ideas that, oh, I don't know, like what would you tell them how to get there?
Well, put it up anyway, because if you don't start, then that's never gonna happen. So that's the thing, I speak to people every single day, and they don't even start because they don't think they can make it in, like, anyway. So it's no point of starting. It's just a lot of fear. But the beauty when you learn stuff and you expand your awareness is that you realize, like, it's a process, but you realize that everything you believe is true. So if you believe that you will win the helicopter ride with Declan, or if you truly believe that you will win the getaway in Killarney and stuff like that, you will, you know, internalize that feeling and take the action that is in harmony with that goal and the result. So don't be afraid, because we are giving up our lives for something that we might not want. I was giving up my life for a lot of stuff that I didn't want, and I didn't know exactly what my goal was, but I knew what I didn't want. So I had to be open open to the idea, and just go out there. Because, to be honest, if you are like, for me, I'm 29 years old, and I've been working with everything. I've been working as a tourist guide on Icelandic horses. I've been, you know, doing economy for companies that don't know how to do economy, so it was a really bad fit for me. And I was doing sales, and been doing leadership. Like, I've been doing all different kind of stuff. But there's always going to be, work. There's always going to be work if you really, really want it and you go out and, push the limits. So there's going to be, if stuff really goes bad and you don't manage to go where you want to go, well, there's always something, some kind of value that you can bring to people, and with all your expertise and your pleasant personality and all of that. So don't be afraid of testing it out. Just
Yeah.
go ahead, play with it. It's not that bad, actually.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
really
And,
not bad.
we are spending that time anyway doing other things, so we might as well spend our
Yeah.
time. Like, people have jumped into the 6 a.m. club, and tomorrow there's going to be over 100 people in that 6 a.m. club, and they're
Yeah.
realizing that these are not weird people, they're not strange people, they're just like them. They're just doing things between the hour of 6 and 7 that probably 6.5 million people in Ireland are not doing. And that's pretty beautiful. It's a
Yeah.
very unique group of people who are, like I always say to my team, we're the most successful bunch of misfits I've ever seen. Like, I'm an acupuncturist. Laura actually was an ultra marathon runner, and she used to lift weights for kind of amateur sports. Yelena was doing Zumba. Dusan was a professional basketballer. Megan's a pharmacist. Ernestine worked for a big multinational, and we have all these different set of skills, but we're working together, and we have a phenomenal new group of success advisors that have joined us as well. And everyone's singing to the one tune. It's like, how can we serve people to the best of our ability? How can we even do it better? And the thing about it is, actually, I never told you something else. Laura actually makes really good cupcakes. Well, she used to have a cupcakery in Glasgow as well at one time. So it's just such a variety of skills. But as I say, we're always the biggest bunch of misfits who are singing in a beautiful harmony together and really taking our lives to the next level and helping all these others to do the same as well. So, Frida, I want to thank you for helping me and my company to grow over the last year. You and Adib, I'd like you to pass it on to him and your team, not just for the results that we've gotten, but also for the way in which we worked together. I just want to take this opportunity. It's very comforting that if things are going well, we get it. We celebrate. If things are not going well, we get it fixed in a moment. So thank you for the energy you brought to my company, and for the energy you brought to our masterclass tonight. I want you to read back some of the comments. The one that stood out the most, I didn't see who said it, but they said you have a beautiful energy, and I think we can all agree with that. So
Oh, thank you.
we got to share the sunset with you as well. It's just been getting darker and darker behind you there. So that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Thanks very much.
But yeah.
You also got a comment in Spanish. I won't even attempt to pronounce it. But anyway, take care. Everybody say we love you, enthusiasm, amazing achievements, Frida. Well done. You're not even 30. This is so impressive. When you know what you want, the process is simple. Have faith in yourself. Wow, I absolutely love day 3. I want to be the very best that I can be, and one shot at this life. I'll see you in the helicopter, Declan. That's really, really cool. I don't know who that is, but anyway. So thank you very much. I'll say a bit of Irish. Somebody said, Gohiantuk, Inspóraducht, Fuirach, wonderful, inspirational, and honest. Namaste. So that's a lovely saying posted our way as well. Brilliant inspiration, Frida. Katrina says, I love your beautiful smile. And I think she's also talking about your smile at the same time, Frida. So everybody, take care. That's Katrina. I made that lady jump into the freezing cold waters of Valencia Island last week, and she's I think I owe her one at this stage. So everybody, take care. Thanks for being with us tonight. Frida, thanks so much for coming along. And everybody, we're going to see you tomorrow. I'm going to pop in at 9 in the morning to do a special announcement about the prizes. And then tomorrow night, we're back. I'm going to be here with a man who's completely changed my life, a gentleman who went through some horrific stuff in his young days. He leads an enormous group of people around the world in a beautiful way. And he's going to really help you to understand the power of making decisions and how it's going to help you to just go to the next level every single week, month, and year for the rest of your life. So take care, everybody. Good night, and thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.